Good, good, good.
Great to have you
So,
here.
bro,
How you
thank
doing,
you, man.
man?
You're well. Huh?
How you doing? You all right?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Here with my family.
Good to
They're
hear.
watching TV in the other room. I'm just, you know, um, I teach today at like 5 p.m. I teach little kids
Yeah.
and and teenagers.
You teach now for how long have you been teaching and coaching?
Mm. I've been teaching for about, I want to say, like officially, probably like a little bit under 10 years now.
Oh, that's
Like
awesome.
officially teaching and coaching, you know.
Pretty awesome, man. Just before I get started, would you like to just introduce yourself to people who might be watching this and who may not know who you are?
Wait, say that one more time.
Um, could we just have like a short introduction for people who are watching this who may not know who you are? Just like brief little introduction as to who you are.
Yeah, I'm Jose Caceres. I was formerly known as the Fresh Prince of Kendall. I am an ex mixed martial arts professional, and right now I'm one of the head instructors at a Freestyle Fighting Academy. And that's what I do now.
Awesome.
Coach, teach. Thank you.
Um, but when you were getting into MMA, what age did you start like training, and when did you know that this is something that you wanted to do professionally?
I started training around like 11 years old with middle school wrestling, and then which led me into a mixed martial arts gym, which is Freestyle Fighting Academy here in Miami, and it was an original like mixed martial arts gym. It was like during the I think around 2001 where I guess MMA was just beginning to become like popular,
Yeah,
like officially, I guess, like as like a fast growing brand. And then I
yeah,
got kind of caught in the wake with being in a room with like people like George Masvidal and other fighters like Charles McCarthy and guys like John, and they were just like influential in the sense, kind of like I didn't aspire to be a fighter. I kind of like was always, I guess, I felt like I was just gonna do normal stuff, like go to school, work, raise a
yeah,
family, and just do this as a hobby, a form of exercise. And it was like around after a few years in college and training in different mixed martial arts gyms. I kind of like and also cornering my brother in his fights back in the
yeah,
day. Um, I was like looking at some of the fighters in the back, hear some of the talk, and then I kind of just got interested. I would watch the sport. I'm a big fan. I love
yeah,
watching it, but then all of a sudden I just got interested in just thinking like, what if I can jump in there and do the same thing? And
yeah.
to answer that
And
question,
you did.
I did. I just started training and I trained to be a fighter, and it was during like some real transitional points in my life. I think I just got into a DUI. I lost my car and I had to go through like this whole rehab thing. And so I was just like working a job as a buster at Cheesecake Factory, then going into a gym and training with some certain mixed martial arts fighters that kind of keep me like busy, and
Yeah,
away from like, engaging in like, I guess, destructive activities.
yeah. Were
And
there any like influential figures or people who inspired you to take on the career, or was it like just more like you were training and you thought, you know what, I'm gonna give this a go?
I mean, I would obviously my master Marcos and master David Avalon, they kind of like, basically took me and my brother off of the streets in a sense and gave us a scholarship
Yeah,
to train there for free. And that, I really look up to them. They were also mixed martial arts fighters as well. Alumni of the same high school we went to, Killian High in Miami. And those guys are pretty. How can you say, like, a big part of my reason why
yeah,
I
of
would even
course. Yeah.
consider this. I had like I felt like I had great training, perfect like a perfect upbringing in that world of mixed martial arts.
And you mentioned Masvidal training at this gym. Did he train
Yeah.
here? How long did he train for? Because I'm pretty sure he moved to American Top Team after, right?
Well, he got his black belt there. No, he got his black belt there. He trained
Yeah.
there for years, man. He trained there for
Oh,
for many years, and when he left, I stayed for a little bit, but when my scholarship ran out, I just
yeah.
started training at I started not training anymore because I couldn't afford mixed martial arts. And that's when I got a job. I believe I was probably like 18 at the time, just getting about to go to college and didn't know any better. And you're just learning. You're learning how to grow up. It's nobody gives you like a handbook. You just try to follow trends, I guess.
Yeah, I can imagine. And when you were starting out with your training, what was your schedule looking like? How many days a week were you training? How long? Stuff like that.
Oh man, so like I said, like I was right after my DUI, so I had a lot of free time. I wasn't going to school. I was just working at a job, making enough money to pay my phone bill and to have stuff to buy. And
Yeah.
and then just I live at home with my mom and I'll train like two times a week. Maybe not 2 times, 2 days, 5 days a week. Sometimes get like what, a couple days off, go back in to
Right.
train, work in the room, helping out different fighters from judo competitors to jiu-jitsu competitors to MMA fighters. I looked at myself as more like the help. I didn't think like I was gonna fight until a promoter walked in. This is after my brother got into the Ultimate Fighter. A promoter walked into the American Top Team and just said like, "Hey, fighter has dropped out of the card. Do you have anybody ready?" And Masvidal and Alexis Vila put me down right away, and they're like, "No, hire this guy. This guy's very talented, and I would like to sponsor him." And they sponsored me. Plus, this other baseball player from Cardinals. They sponsored me to like basically just to train.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
When
So I was
when
pretty
when
blessed, bro.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's so awesome, man. And when you started out your career and you started going through it, what were some of the biggest challenges and things that you learned in the start of your career, and how did you overcome those challenges?
So some of the biggest challenges were is the discipline of staying focused. Like
Yeah,
and like my brother could even tell you too. Like living in a place like Miami with a lot of distractions and a lot of things to do. What I mean, like as a young guy, the women, the nightlife, all that stuff can like draw you away from the training, and I've seen it destroy athletes. I've
yeah,
seen people that become very talented from different countries, and then when they're in this fast-paced environment, it's like I've seen them just like lose focus easily. So that's one of something I overcome as a young guy going into like like my middle age, where I saw a big change in my life. What I mean? Where like,
yeah.
hey man, I'm more obsessed now about being in the gym and instead of like, trying to find um find pleasure and find like, just escape just from whatever like day-to-day routine I was doing in the gym.
Yeah, of course. And
Yeah.
now looking back at your career and everything that you've accomplished, is there anything that perhaps if you could go back, would you change anything or would you give yourself any advice? And if so, what would it be?
No, man. Look, I wouldn't change a thing because what I saw, things I've experienced, it was meant for me that way because I wouldn't even know like after knowing UFC fighters, and hanging out with like certain like famous people that people consider famous,
Yeah,
like some of them are really cool, some of them kept their head, but some of them lost their cool. And some of them also lost themselves, I think. And I feel like if I were to got into those like realms of like, heights of the career, I think
yeah,
I wouldn't be the same Jose that I am today with the family that I have, with the mindset that I have, it's just in the health that I have, what I mean? Because it's just so much that goes with it. So,
of course.
you could say that the world is like super pleasing, but for me, it's like it's more of it was a good exposure to know what I really wanted. Like I asked for being a champion in the UFC, and like I didn't get it, and I understand why now. And
And
it's like,
yeah, and
like
you
I
wouldn't
know you
change
didn't
it.
want to go personal into the thing, bro, but it's like, I have a brother in the UFC, so it's like I
Oh
just
yeah.
know he can say whatever he wants, bro, but it's just if that's what I turn into, I'd rather not.
So you wouldn't change a thing. You're happy with
Nah,
how
dude, I
everything
love my
played out.
life, bro. I have some of the best experience. I fought some of the best fighters in the world.
Yeah,
You know
of
what I mean?
course.
Like,
Yeah.
so like I'm
Beat
okay with it.
good
And I
feeling. Yeah.
beat in the best fighter in the world, right? Like I beat in the GSP of my time.
Yeah, Kamara Usman,
It's like
man.
I can say it, I mean? Like and that's okay with me. You know what I mean? Like am I like on the podium like doing interviews? Do I got my own podcast? No, because in in reality I don't don't care about that. What I mean? Like I know what I really care about, and I care about my family, man. I care about like my health. I care about living this life, to its fullest potential. And there's so many other avenues just to make it in life, and doesn't have to be in front of the camera trying to hurt somebody else.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Family comes first, man.
Yeah, man. I feel
And
like I got what I did. I got what I wanted out of this whole career. I got what I wanted from this experience, and I'm a martial arts expert, bro. Like that's badass.
of course,
Not a
do you
lot of
ever
people
feel,
can say that.
yeah, of course, man. And do you ever feel like you could have, if that's what you locked in and that's what you wanted, you could have made it to the UFC and became a
Absolutely.
champion? Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like all I had to do was just probably like, talk to like a talk to like some demon. He would have just gave me the contract. I would have sold my soul right there. But I was protected, bro. Swear to God. Like all I had to do was just say yes, but something I guess my ancestors were protecting me from that. They're like, you don't want this life, Jose. It's not what it's like, Hold on. What? He's up here. That's fine. Go upstairs with him and then just let me finish this interview. Please. Go. Take him downstairs then, but carry him carefully. With my daughter and my son playing. Not really playing. My son wants to run upstairs and
Yeah,
my daughter just being the bigger sister, just trying to take care of him.
that's awesome,
And I
man.
gotta teach him.
It's such a great thing, Like I feel like if I ever became a fighter, it's something that I would like to do in the future, but I feel like I would always put the family first, man. And that's exactly what
Yeah.
you did,
And
man.
that's good. I mean that's okay. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like my brother made it and I'm happy for my brother. And he needed it, bro. Like I felt like him getting into the UFC is what he needed in his life because if he didn't get in there, like I know him personally. I don't think he would be a happy dude. You know what I mean? He'll probably
Yeah.
be very depressed and feel unfulfilled. You know what I mean? He doesn't feel fulfillment. So he's seeking fulfillment and validation in that cage every time, risking his neck.
He,
And it's like that's not I mean, I'd rather risk my neck in different ways. I mean, it's just
yeah.
not fighting was cool. It was glorious. It was hella fun. It brought me a lot of attention, but you know, I like laying low too and not getting so much attention as well.
Yeah. And when he first made it into the UFC, was that anything that you and like your family was like, whoa, like this is mind blowing, or this is you still looked at him the same Alex, like nothing
No,
really
it's the same
changed.
Alex,
Yeah.
bro. No, it was more like it was mind blowing because like before getting into the UFC and just only fighting in like the regular circuit, my dad was like, and your dad is like, our father would be like our biggest influence in our life. You know what I mean? The guy that's
Yeah.
kind of like raised you. And if you had a man like that telling you like guys like you don't make it and you might not make it in this career is bogus, you know what I mean? It's hard to like, overcome that, you know, to make it through there. And then when we made it, it's kind of like, you see, we can make it in this.
Yeah, it's like you kind of
And
bend the rules and everything. Like
yeah,
yeah. And now he's like sort of a veteran in the UFC. He's been there for like forever.
yes. He has like the PhD in MMA in there, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He can take it however he wants, you know what I mean? But my brother's like, whatever my brother's doing in his career, we haven't talked in a long time, so I don't know what he's planning right now. Maybe to keep fighting or to break records. I don't know. Whatever he's doing, you know what I mean? I hope he's doing great. And I hope he's just, finds that fulfillment within this career. You know what I mean? I'm definitely loving what I do at Freestyle Fighting Academy, teaching the youth and like anybody off of the street that's just needs self-defense as a form of exercise or something to complete in their life. Like I'm there for them, and that's maybe what I was meant for, right? Get all that experience and then be able to share it with people because maybe I have that ability to share the message fluidly to like basically a whole array of people from different languages and stuff.
Yeah. Do you ever feel like you see yourself in any of these youngsters that you're teaching? Like in the way,
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. All the time, man. All the time, bro. And this makes it easy for me to like consult them and to like, to raise their consciousness and help them become like, better human beings.
Yeah, that's an awesome philosophy, man. And for any potential up and coming fighters who are watching this, what would you give them as advice? Like, what is the most important thing that they should know before they get into a lot of fighting?
Man, the most important advice, just make sure you're having fun while you're doing it. To
Yeah,
me, it's just as long as you enjoy what you're doing, it's not gonna feel like work ever again. When I was MMA training, it wasn't like I dreaded practice. Yeah, yeah, it's hard. Yeah, yeah, sometimes you don't. There's things that you don't like, but the whole as if you step back and you look at everything as a whole, do you enjoy it? Yeah, and I think that's the most important part of doing anything in life. Just love what you do. you
100%.
know.
And before you get into a fight and you have to do all the training in the camp, what's your mindset and like how do you prepare for a fight? Because I feel like it's very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, yeah. So that's like nobody comes with like handbooks, built-in handbooks on how to be. Some people are naturals at it, but it's about staying composed, you know. And the more composed you can, and how do I prepare? I did everything from listening to different videos of different motivational speakers. I've done different different exercises, breathing exercises, meditations. I dabbled into different mixed martial arts of like, into Tai Chi, into, you know, breathing qigong, breathing exercises, and those things. Like, how do I prepare myself? Just it was always different. Like there was like a different ritual every fight or everything. Like one day, I think there was one fight. I think when I went to go fight Colby Covington, I had to carry bricks all the way to the gym from my house, and because we fought at the University of Miami, and it's like right down the street from my house, so. And like I drove like halfway and I had these bricks in my hand and for some reason, whatever reason I was believing at the moment was to carry these two cinder block bricks all the way to the fight, so that way I can try to knock this guy out. I don't know, it was something that I made sense in my head back then, but anything, you know what I mean? I feel like everybody
Yeah,
has their little thing that they do, you know what I mean? Like for example, like the Jiri and Alex Pereira, they have like their own little rituals and stuff that they do before fighting to
yeah,
get into that mindset.
yeah, and
Because it's not a natural mindset. Honestly, I was like,
yeah,
I literally just meet a random dude. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I gotta fight you tomorrow, and I know you're gonna try to rip my head off, but I'm gonna try to rip your head off first. So good luck. you know?
yeah. I've seen an interview with Adesanya, and he said something about he would pretend and play a character every fight, like a different character. So it's from like
Yeah,
different shows and animes, and it was pretty interesting. I feel like that's pretty awesome the way that he did that, and it kind of plays with your
yes,
opponent's mind.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I can see similarities in how I done that as well. I mean, like an example where I wanted to pick a fight, and just because I was training with a Muay Thai world champion named Raul Yopes. And I was like, my next fight, I'm only gonna do elbows and knees. So I
Yeah,
would wear the tie shorts, and then that kind of gave me the confidence that I was gonna go in there with a plan and a purpose to just really lay some elbows and knees on this person. And that's gonna be the most important thing that I should also tell to anybody that wants to get into this: have plan and have purpose.
and for outside of the cage and when you're not fighting, what do you enjoy the most when you're like just it's you have your free time? What is the most fulfilling thing that you can do?
Man, right now I'm 37 years old. I got a 2-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter. I like raising my kids, bro. I like being around them. That's my most favorite thing to do. I can occasionally pick up my guitar, play for them, and then inspire them. Maybe bring out the PA machine and do some karaoke right off on the TV, or like play with my son with his toys and stuff, and take him to the sandbox or go to the pool. It's just I live in paradise, bro, and I'm blessed. Like I am a rich man. I can't deny. I'm not lacking or missing anything. So.
That's awesome, man. That's honestly amazing. And now, like, would you say that you're not into you don't want to fight anymore, right? Like you're done with fighting.
No, of course I want to fight again. I would
Oh,
love
you
to fight
do.
again.
You'd love
Hell
to,
yeah.
but it's
Hell yeah, I would
hard
love
to.
to. I'm 30. I feel like I still got some more gas in this tank that I can
Yeah,
still bang out with even the youngest, strongest, or the oldest, most veteran. I can fight the best of the best.
and that's something you're still
After
interested in, 100%, right?
yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
at
great.
least three more times. Because right now I'm a 3-fight losing streak. And
Yeah,
I was going through it. You know what I mean? I was like, leaving gyms and just training out of my house and not focused. It was a like another transitional phase in my life. There was some shit going on in my
yeah,
life where I was just like not focused, and I I, I did some shitty fights,
yeah,
and I want to come back, make a return, and at least win one.
yeah. Of course.
Do like three
And
fights, but win
yeah, man.
one at least.
And when you
Because
train
it's
with,
still it's
yeah,
uh-huh.
finish what you're saying now. Whatever.
Yeah, no, because it's still very fun to me. It's still very
Yeah, I can imagine. Like what I feel like once you hop into not just MMA but any sport, that sort of becomes like your favorite thing. Like you have
yeah.
to. You know, you're always hungry for more, you know?
I got 28 pro fights, bro. Like, why wouldn't I do 29 and 30? Like, 31. Why not?
Yeah. Now, when you train with some of the, let's say, more experienced fighters such as Masvidal and stuff like that, what is the main things that you've learned from them? Like whether it be like
Oh man,
training or just mindset, anything.
like if just as an observer, just watching like fighters like Yoel Romero, George Masvidal, Alexis Vila, like guys I worked really close with that I saw like my brother. Um, you got to work like a dog. Honestly, you're like a dog. That to me, that's what it looks like. You know, you're their dog, and you gotta eat right, train every day, and you don't gotta be like the best technique, or you have to. Your mindset's always gonna fluctuate. You're never gonna have the most perfect mindset every day. You're gonna have doubt and fear,
Yeah,
and like, all this stuff entering your mind, and you see everybody battling with it. There's no perfect way, no, like, like, oh, if I tell somebody this, you're gonna skyrocket like this. No, it's gonna look. I could tell you this today, and as it's a seed in your head, and it's still like being made sense to your soul and everything. Your journey is gonna look something like this.
yeah, and
It could
yeah,
go either way. So this is where like destiny is just it's something that plays into this, and you have very much control of it as long as you put in the work, man.
yeah. And when you're training and in the camp, diet is really important. For you, what did your diet consist of when you're in the camp? Because you have to cut weight, I believe so. How exactly does that
Yeah, no,
work?
I'm a pretty good faster. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty diligent on like how I can like, manage without food and water
Mhm.
for a safe amount of time to lose certain amount of weight for like the final cut. But dieting and nutrition, I eat whatever I want. And I had different diets. You know what I mean? I even got into a point where like, I was influenced by my brother for a bit in trying only the vegan way,
Yeah,
and I've done the carnivore way, and I've done like Dolce's diets way, and all these I've done everybody's way.
yeah.
And
And which
for me,
one
it's just
worked
like
the
I
best?
eat what I want, and as long as I feel good eating it, and I bless my food, I just it's like, man, like I heard, I mean, and I've seen other athletes, you know what I mean, just straight on McDonald's and Coke become world champions. So I don't know about diet. Diet is like a theory still.
You don't like think it's that important in terms of as long as you're eating.
Nah, it's really not that important, man. When you see guys like Roy Nelson out there, fat as fuck, knocking niggas out, it's like, yo, see, and then you start seeing like certain athletes, like baseball players, runners, and see how they eat. They probably don't eat like that all the time, but you got to diet. You definitely got to diet, and you know what you're dieting for. Is it to make weight? Is it for
Yeah,
energy? And is it for nutrition and performance?
yeah. And now, like, obviously, you're on the 3-5 losing streak. You want to turn that around. How do you handle loss and like how do you cope with that, like setbacks and stuff?
Man, it's like there's always that one. Every time you lose, you always. I don't know. For me, this is what like how I feel. I feel like, man, I wish there was a reset button like in a video game, and I
Oh
can
yeah,
reset this
imagine.
again. So that's, and then when I realize that when I say that to myself, I usually have like this like sense like, oh, but it's not a video game. And then I think about my gratitude about, hey, but I'm still okay. Man, I got both of my eyes, my teeth are still good. So I be having nightmares before my fight sometimes of like losing a body part or something. It's
Yeah,
crazy. Or teeth, and or hitting my opponent, I can't hurt him. And then, you sometimes your dream is just like, I don't know what dreams are about. So, but that's what I'm saying. Like, how do I cope with it? Just that gratitude, being thankful that like, man, just even being here is a huge. Just being in the cage is a win.
yeah, 100%. And when you're in the cage with like these guys, who was the toughest guy you ever fought? Like, or
The
toughest
toughest guy
guys?
I ever fought,
Yeah,
man. Like okay, like as an opponent wise, I want to say, you know what, man, I gotta say nobody was that tough.
nobody.
Nobody was that tough. Like nobody was like, oh, like that I can remember that was like, oh man, that guy was super tough. They had good, because I don't know what like tough is. You know what I mean? Like because you controlled me and you stayed on top of me, or you fought me when I was cutting like 30 pounds. You know what I mean? Like what's tough? You know what I mean? At that point. I don't know, like, and I think back at it, like, you know what I mean? Like, if we ran it back again, you know what I mean? Like, you can, I don't know. I don't have that loser mindset. I don't. I
Yeah,
just, I don't think nobody's tougher than me. I'm sorry. I just can't. I
you're
can't
the
like agree to
toughest.
that. I'm the toughest, bro, because I'm still on this earth. That's how tough I am. I can overcome this and this and this.
Yeah, man. And now, like with in training in Miami, there's a ton of like fighters to come out of here. And
Yes.
your brother, he fought in the UFC. What's it like in Miami? Because I've never been. Something.
It's beautiful, man. No, it's just really hot and it's beautiful. You know, there's a lot of rain and there's always like, you know, activities to do. MMA would be like I would say like nowadays is like it's a big sport now. Now people are becoming more aware of it.
Yeah,
But you know, the fan base, sports base here, like you know, you got baseball, basketball, football all year round,
yeah.
basically. You know, soccer.
You got Messi living in
Um,
Miami now.
the beaches. If you love the beach, you got the beaches. If
Yeah,
you like
man.
wilderness, you got the Everglades. You know, it's flat, but it's nice. I don't know. I've been everywhere, and I still love living in Miami.
Yeah. But I feel like now Miami's like almost at its peak in terms of sports. Like there's so
Yeah,
many high level athletes, whether they're from Miami or living in Miami.
I
It's
think it has to do with something with like us being in the equator and like the geo electrical like you know like why do old people like to retire here? Why do all the athletes come over here? They say it's better air quality. They say that there's something maybe we're near the Bermuda Triangle or something, and there's like some
yeah,
type of like you know something that we can harness or cultivate through just you know aligning ourselves in.
yeah,
So unconscious or consciously or unconsciously, I don't know. Like I feel like a lot of famous people or people that have this like wisdom, esoteric wisdom, they like to come to Miami. And they and like why do all the greatest athletes come here? You know, I met almost all the best athletes in the world here in Miami.
yeah.
Yeah.
And who was like, would you say like the coolest experience that you've met with like an athlete or a person in Miami? Like what was the
Like now the coolest experience that I met with would be I mean like I don't know, are you familiar with Mike Rio? He used to be in the UFC.
what? I'm not f
They
familiar
called
with
him the
him.
Wolverine. So I tried off with
Yeah,
the Ultimate Fighter house, right? I think it was a tough 15 show. I got to like the second day and like I was like for sure about to make it. It was for the 155 category.
yeah,
And there was like there was fighters that are like that were there that were not famous, but I thought they were cool as hell.
mm,
And they were not even like UFC fighters yet, but like now
yeah.
when you see them now, like I had great experiences with them. And that was Michael Chiesa and Mike
Oh,
Rio. Yeah, in Las
Michael
Vegas. We were chilling in Las Vegas, yeah.
the Ultimate Firehouse is in Vegas, right?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. And they flew you out there, like to Vegas,
No, you
or
have to fly yourself out
yeah,
there,
yes,
bro. You have to
myself.
fly yourself out there and then but they give you the hotel, they give you the per diem a day, and
Went to
you just gotta like, you know, go through
the
the interview
PI.
process. Huh?
The
No, this is
PI is
before the PI
oh
was
the
invented,
PI
bro.
wasn't
This is
around, all
years
right.
ago. No,
Okay.
no, no.
And at this point in your career, what is the main thing that you can define like success? Like what is success at this rate?
As in MMA career.
Yeah, as in your career, in your life, like what is success? Because people have different definitions of it, and how they define what success is. What would you define success as?
Man, for me, success is, and nothing is guaranteed, like, but man, that's a tough one, like, because like, what do I consider success? That I'm still alive and I still got the my sanity and all the memories in my head.
That's amazing, man.
To me,
Like,
that's success. You know, I've seen fighters
yeah,
go out there and they get rocked and they don't make it the next day. I've seen people die.
yeah, and
So like being here alive and with my mind still, you know what I mean? I think fighters that like had a potential to like let's say go do something else with their career, but they physically can't do it anymore. So being alive and in one piece is like and it's not guaranteed. I can pass away tomorrow. Who knows? But like right now, as of right now, that's the most valuable thing. You can't take that away from me. Everything I have in my head, you know what I mean? Like the only way to obtain it from me is by actually taking one of my classes or learning with me. So that's forever gold. So
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm probably gonna have to wrap this up in the next 2 minutes.
yeah.
Is there anything that you'd just like to say to the fans watching this, to any people watching this, like just final message, you know?
No, man. Thank you so much for listening. That's a little bit about my story that we can definitely go into more depth in it if you ever want to.
Yeah,
But
of course. I'd definitely like to have you on here again.
I'm just trying to be as transparent and
Yeah,
as open as possible um, about my life in my career and how's affected it and everything.
yeah, man. It's been amazing having you. Thank you so much for joining me, man.
You're
Honestly,
welcome.
yeah, it's been a great talk.
No, no problem,
Wish you
man.
all the best, man, in your life, in your career, everything, man.
Thank
Bless
you.
you, man. Take care.
God bless, bro. Peace. Bye bye.